host, Landon Story. Landon, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Going 1 and 2. Drop the tour.
Well, I mean, you had fun though. That's the most important thing,
Yeah,
right? You had some good battles and everything. Let's talk about your team real quick while we're getting set up for round 4. What did you bring to this challenge?
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I brought Saib's team from Charlotte, and I decided to put Sunny Day on Tornadus instead because I noticed that the Tornadus was on the team. He didn't really use it as much in his matches, and I wanted to make it work somehow. So I figured, let's put Sunny Day on it to make it work with the Fluttermane and the Raging Bolt and all that stuff that he had.
That sounds very familiar to what I had at Charlotte, because I had Sunny Day on my Tornadus, and I brought it more in the online tours this last week than I did at Charlotte.
Yeah.
Literally at Charlotte, it felt like if I brought Tornadus, I was gonna have that liability Pokemon in a sense, where it's like you're sacrificing a slot.
Yeah.
In a sense, and it was just like I know mine was able to get the Sunny Days off and have the speed control and everything, but it just didn't feel like any of our matchups felt good. And then round 9, I'm like, you know what? Why not? I'll bring Tornadus, and lo and behold,
Exactly.
It did nothing.
It is super hard to use because the fact that you have to take in that support slot, it's less offensive pressure that you're using, and you really don't want to get taunted also if you have another Tornadus. So usually I go max speed on my Torns so that I don't have to deal with a taunting.
Exactly. So you win the speed. So you don't lose the speed ties and be able to either A, get off a Sunny Day, B, get off a Tailwind, or C, get your own taunt off.
Exactly. Well, the only thing unfortunate with that is that, you're like sacrificing defense input, you're sacrificing your like attack potentially if you want to like put a little bit into that. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough out here for Tornadus lovers.
It can be very rough for Tornadus lovers. But ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get started with round number 4. We have Anthony Sabal versus Zach Kahan, and honestly, these two guys are some of the best Florida has to offer. So it's going to be a real good game to watch, don't you think, Landon?
Yeah, I've seen several matches between these two players, not against each other particularly, but if you look at it, we got pretty interesting teams going on. Zach is running a bit of a rain setup with Arcaludon, Pelipper, that's a Rapid Strike Urshifu, but, also with Fluttermane, Baxcalibur, Amoonguss, just some Pokemon we usually always see. And very consistent.
And I think I speak for all of us when I say, with the two Urshifu forms, they really needed to separate like their sprites in game.
Yeah.
like it just doesn't, like, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I think it's safe now that we've had Urshifu for 2 generations of VGC battling that we can kind of tell based on the team composition which Urshifu is that. I mean, open team sheets makes it so much easier for us to really know it, but it would help if, like, maybe the Rapid Strike Urshifu
had like this little thing going on with its hands,
or even just like have like Rapid Strike as that and Single Strike just have one arm up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that would be perfect for the Single Strike. Just have the one arm up like it has in battle. Like, you don't even have to have Urshifu Rapid Strike with the 2 hands out like that. You could just have Urshifu Rapid Strike down.
Yeah, exactly.
But one arm up for Urshifu Single Strike would be perfect. And as we look at Anthony's team, he is bringing everybody's favorite combination, Gozogiri, with the Curly Tatsugiri, which will give attack boost every time that order up is clicked. And Unaware is very underrated. I know that's a little bit of a pun to use the uns and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But the other two, I mean, I love this Dragapult Chen Pao combination. Yeah. Normally you see Terra Ghost on Dragapult.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Terra Dragon's a very interesting adjustment for Dragapult.
Yes, with the Dragon Darts, plus not only the Sword of Ruin getting that boost, but the Choice Band, Sword of Ruin, and the Terra Dragon. Those Dragon Darts are going to be hurting really hard on Zach's Pokemon, and also rounding out on Anthony's was that Entei and Enamorous Therian, which is pretty cool to see an Enamorous Therian, a very underrated fairy type in this meta.
Yeah, and now we take a look at Zach Kahan's team, and he has Arcaludon, centerpiece of his play that he's been using this tournament thus far, with the Assault Vest and Terra Grass to resist that Rage Powder and Spores usually, and Urshifu Rapid Strike with a Terra Ghost.
That's actually a very unique one. A Terra Ghost on the Urshifu Rapid Strike. And the Baxcalibur, he said before this round that Baxcalibur has been one of his MVPs throughout today's 3 rounds of Swiss. And running that Terra Poison with Thermal Exchange, normally we've seen Ice Body be the ability on Baxcalibur. So to see Thermal Exchange, which gives it an attack boost every time it gets hit with a Fire type move, is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, for those of you who have watched the past Florida streams, we have Matt Stevenson, who usually brings in his Baxcalibur teams. He always has Ice Body on that, with the occasional Thermal Exchange. But yeah, Thermal Exchange is a really good thing for his Baxcalibur to have going into this match.
Exactly, and also naturally you having the Glaive Rush on Baxcalibur, which is a very good move at the cost of every attack on the next turn being double damage. However, that's why you carry Protect with Glaive Rush.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at Anthony's team, he's bringing that Entei. He might be a little more scared to bring it because of the Thermal Exchange, and so building a nice option for Zach to bring.
And not to mention that Entei is also Terra Grass. So if he Terras, then those Icicle Crashes and Ice Shards are going to be super effective. But as we get into game one, we see Zach lead with that Urshifu and Fluttermane. Fluttermane's booster energy gets activated, and it's speed booster Flutter. That's important to note, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, with the speed, you'll know it's not dealing as much damage on the field, but it's most likely going to be moving before anything. For Qianpao to move first before it, it'd have to use Sucker Punch. For anything to move before it, it'd have to use Priority Move.
And with the Urshifu out there, with that Sword of Ruin, it is going to do major damage to either one of Anthony's Pokemon. But Zach opts to go for the Protect here on turn one. Qianpao going for that Sucker Punch. And
Just like I said.
And it fails. But the Urshifu goes for the U-turn. So Anthony making an aggressive read that Urshifu was not going to Surging Strikes there. He nearly terrestrialized into a Terra Grass there.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting play for Zach to make. Usually people are tempted to just go straight ahead with it when they have their Urshifu in play.
And in comes the Archaludon. Entei going for that Sacred Fire.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of damage, and it gets
the burn. The
burn is huge. 50% on the burn. The stamina boost is helpful for Archaludon, even though Anthony's Qianpao is carrying that Sacred Sword, so those defense boosts essentially mean nothing. However, Archaludon is Terra Grass, so it would turn from a super effective hit to a neutral hit, and we know Archaludon is more of a special attacker, but it's carrying Heavy Slam too. So now those Heavy Slams are not going to do much damage at all.
Heavy Slam's definitely an interesting play. More often we'll see the Flash Cannon, but maybe it's made so they could take out those Fluttermanes.
Yeah, so, and also, how fun is it that Sacred Fire got that burn on the first time that Anthony clicked it in this battle?
That's just,
that's amazing.
He flipped the coin, he got heads, good for him,
Exactly.
That's just how it goes.
Flip a coin. If heads, your Pokemon is now burned. If tails, well, I'll just let Skarmory catch it in midair before it gets to become tails.
Pretty much.
And we see Qianpao go for the Protect. Fluttermane goes for the Moonblast into the Protect, and it is not going to do any damage on the Qianpao. Entei going for that Sacred Fire into Fluttermane.
One hit knockout. There we go.
And the Fluttermane is down. Zach is down, one of his heaviest special attackers, but Archaludon going for that Body Press, but that burn. The burn that basically negates that power, that stamina boost is basically null and void by the burn.
The burn actually doesn't affect the Body Press because of the fact that, remember, it's using its defensive stat and not its attacking stat. Remember that?
True, but also the burn will negate the damage of physical attack. So it might be like a give or take there as well. But now with the rain up, not only are those Sacred Fires not going to be very effective with the rain negating it by 50% here, Archaludon can now go for that Electro Shot.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't think it's really going to be the best case for Zach in this scenario because, remember, Qianpao has that Sacred Sword.
That is very true. And also, it has the Ice Spinner potentially trying to break the Focus Dash.
But we see it doing exactly what you said, the Ice Spinner breaking the Focus Dash.
And Entei going for the Stomping Tantrum into the Archaludon.
Oh!
It lives! Are you kidding
that burn's
me?
going to take it out, though, but it's going to be able to get some damage off on the field.
The Hurricane comes out, brings Entei down to under 50% and Body
Press takes out the Qianpao.
So it takes a Pokemon on its way out the door. That is a big play for Zach Kahan. Wow, that is an amazing turn right there. The Qianpao goes down. I thought that maybe we were going to see a potential Electro Shot and get rid of the Entei on the way out the door, but I think that was actually a smart play on Zach Kahan's side.
Yeah, Zach's definitely in good headspace for this, possibly gathering information game one as well. Urshifu's all he's got left, but unfortunately, like we saw, might be Dozo Giri coming out, and that's going to be really unfortunate for Zach because of that water resistance.
That is very true. However, it's looking like Entei might be going for the Terra Grass here, but there is even a possibility that we're going to see a Dozo combination as Entei is switching out, and in comes the Tatsugiri. So Tatsugiri now on the field, and it's the curly form, but it does have that shiny form. Shoutouts to the new Paldean Fates trading card game set, which just came out.
Exactly.
I don't know if I'm going to try to go for one of those, but I do know that this Dondozo has just eaten a piece of sushi, and it is now massively powerful.
Yep. I mean, sushi always makes you more powerful. That's just how it goes,
This is very true. Sushi is a very healthy meal to have. As Pelipper goes for the terrestrialization, Terra's into a ghost type here. So now it is. I mean, this is a very interesting Terra right
It's definitely an interesting Terra. Not one I was really expecting.
We see the Surging Strikes come out on the Urshifu, and because of the Rocky Helmet, it's
going to be taking more damage, yep.
It's going to take 3 guaranteed Rocky Helmet damage hits per turn. That is a big play for Anthony Sabal to be able to get that Dondozo combined. And the order up comes out into the Pelipper.
Into the Pelipper, so the Terra didn't really do anything for him. But, realistically, Zach still had his Terra left over. Couldn't really do too much with it. Both of them had Terra Ghost. It wasn't really going to help either of them really too much.
Unfortunately, it was not. However, this Rain is still doing decent enough to where I think that if Urshifu wasn't taking the Rocky Helmet damage, I think it might have been able to live that +3 order up.
And as you guys see here, the battle was canceled. Zach forfeited the game. Possibly seeing just, there wasn't a light at the end of his tunnel there. He wasn't really doing too well.
Unfortunately, there was not, but that's just, that just proves what we've known about this combination. This Dondozo and Tatsugiri combination, that commander ability is heavily underrated. And by being able to get +2 on all your stats at the cost of not being able to switch out, we've seen it in the past. Some people will leave that out there. Some might do the Toxic Orb set to make sure that Tatsugiri...
Like we said, sushi makes you stronger. There you go.
Sushi does make you stronger, as evidenced by that Dondozo. I wish I knew a good Japanese saying right there. So we know Dondozo was based on a sushi chef.
Yeah.
I wish I knew a good Japanese saying. I really wish I knew one there. Unfortunately, I do not know Japanese except for let me think. What's a good one that I could maybe? I know like. I'm trying to think of one Pokemon that. Elekibel, Sento Furon.
I know.
Gokasu no Kachi.
I know.
Yote Shota, Zakari no Kachi.
I know Pikachu's name in Japanese.
Yes.
Pikachu. Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, that's a benefit of watching the anime.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Pokemon Horizon, which is coming out in March on Netflix, tentatively speaking, right now. I have no idea if it is or not, but I've seen it a little bit, the Japanese side of things. It actually looks like a really good...
It does look like a really good show, in my opinion as well.
It is weird to not have Ash in there, but let's see if Zach can force a game number 3 here, as we do see a little bit of a switch up on both sides. Zach leading Archaludon and Urshifu, and there's the Dragapult on Anthony's side.
See, this Dragapult has Dragon Darts, Fan Force, U-Turn, Outrage with the Terra Dragon like we were talking about, but usually what you'll see is instead of the Outrage, you'll have a Terra Blast and Terra Ghost, that's usually what you'll see on a Dragapult. And odd enough for Anthony's start, he didn't bring Qianpao when it works well with either of those two Pokemon, but perhaps there's going to be a switch, something going on.
Potentially
there's not even Qianpao, but it's definitely going to mess with Zach Collins' play, thinking if that Qianpao's back there.
Exactly. As we do see Zach switch out the Archaludon in here, potentially looking for that, bringing in the Amoonguss. That's a switch up on Zach's side, bringing Amoonguss in for the first time.
Amoonguss has Zach's Amoonguss has a really uncommon Terra type. Usually we see Terra Water, Terra Dark. Occasionally you'll even see Terra Fire. Like, you saw that in the old days. It was like, I think it was Regulation A or B. It used to be around. But Zach's has a Terra Steel.
Yes, and we do see Urshifu. It went for the U-turn once again into the Entei. Now, it went into Chen Pao with the U-turn the first time, so in theory, Anthony's been playing this very well by getting Zach to bait that U-turn switch out. But now it remains to be seen what Zach has in the back because there's a Pelipper.
There's a Pelipper. So now Anthony knows all 4 of Zach's Pokemon, and yet again, Zach doesn't know either of Anthony's back 2 Pokemon.
We see this Outrage come out here. Which slot does it go into? It goes into the Pelipper and brings it all the way down to its Focus Sash. And now, here's the other thing to note, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, with the Sacred Fire coming in.
On the Amoonguss, how you got that coin flip and the coin flip again. Got the heads.
Got the heads, and there's the burn. 2 Sacred Fires, 2 burns. So it's 100. So in the case of Anthony Sable over Zach Kahan, it is a 100% chance that
Exactly.
you will get burned if you click the Sacred Fire. But now what's important to note is this Dragapult is locked into Outrage. While it is the fastest Pokemon on the field, Zach does have Protect on his Amoonguss and his Pelipper, and Outrage is either a 2 or 3 turn attack. So in theory, Zach could potentially get that Dragapult to get confused at the end of this turn, and therefore maybe force a switch on Anthony's side.
Definitely could do that, Joe. And we see a Protect from Pelipper, just like you were talking about, how both Mons have have Protect. Sorry.
It got
but
that
went
Outrage roll into Pelipper.
Oh, so that's really unfortunate for Zach, because if you do not know, Outrage will just stop its continuous roll once you're protected. But Zach was still thinking ahead, got the Spore on the Dragapult.
And that is big because now Dragapult has to take 1 turn of sleep. And now it remains to be seen what Zach's going to do. But we do see Amoonguss. It went down with that burn into the 50% range, which activates that Citrus Berry. So it's now at 75% health. And Dragapult has to take that 1 turn of sleep now.
Zach's in a pretty good position right now. Like, even though, his Amoonguss is burned, his Pelipper's, pretty low. Amoonguss still survives 1 more Sacred Fire, and he could potentially Spore because he doesn't have the Terra Grass option anymore.
No, he does not. And our Chowdon comes out back onto the field. It is now in that rain. And by virtue of that Dragon, it's now pure Dragon. So Dragon Pulse would be super effective on the Dragapult. It would already be super effective by virtue of being Dragon Ghost type. But now it's just guaranteed.
Exactly.
And we do see Amoonguss go for the Spore. And both of Anthony's Pokemon are now taking a nap. But we see the burn come out on Amoonguss. And now it remains to be seen, will this Dragapult wake up? It took its 1 guaranteed turn of sleep. So there's a possibility that it wakes up here.
Well, we've seen Anthony win several coin flips today so far, so I wouldn't be surprised if he won it again.
I would not be surprised either at this point. But I'm actually curious. I don't even know how much damage this will do. And this is a sign of knowing your damage counts, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if Choice Band Terra Dragon Outrage. I feel like it would. I feel like it would do enough to knock out that Archaludon from full. Yep. I have a feeling, but I just don't know.
Yeah, we don't have a stamina boost. And the wake up! We're gonna see right now.
And it got the Outrage hit to the Archaludon!
And so close. You see?
Oh my God! It got right there. Entei stays asleep. However, I didn't see Stamina activate there. Did you?
Stamina did activate afterwards. Yes, I did.
I must have missed it. But Dragapult goes down. The Dragapult critical hit.
Critical hit. There you go.
All right, a little ebb and flow there.
A little bit
of ebb and flow there. I think that's a good trade-off for Zach. Because, I mean, that was I feel like that might have been a roll on that Outrage. Because we saw
definitely was a roll with that. Yep.
That bar just went all the way down, and it just barely left a sliver of red.
Yep.
And now we got Tatsugiri coming out onto the field. Now, Entei is still asleep. It took its 1 turn of sleep. So now it remains to be seen what is going to happen because this Tatsugiri is Choice Scarf.
So it's basically guaranteed to go first in this situation. So, Entei, it's taking a nice little nap for now, but Tatsugiri is watching its back. So usually we see a Tatsugiri just, Dondoza switching in immediately. So Sushi makes you stronger.
Sushi does make you stronger.
But in this case, Anthony's just in a good position to where Icy Wind could probably KO both of the Pokemon. I mean, I think it can KO Archaludon for sure.
I think you're right there. As we do see Archaludon switch in, Urshifu comes back in, and now, by virtue of that, if he went Icy Wind, which it is Icy Wind,
that Choice Scarf from the Urshifu just became negated.
Exactly. it is now a negated move, or not a negated move, a negated item. So that boost is now null and void, which is very impressive.
And Entei woke up.
Another one-turn wake up and a Trailblaze.
What a good call.
Oh, my.
Speed drop onto Urshifu and speed up onto Entei. Honestly, I don't think Anthony could be in any better of a position right now.
I think you're right there because Pelipper comes back out, reactivates the rain, but Pelipper is all the way down at its focus edge. Any one hit will knock it out.
Icy Wind, just like he was using, you know? It's really just Anthony's just in a commanding lead right now, and Zach, with some misses from an Icy Winds because, you know, it has that 95% accuracy.
You don't got to remind me about that. I've had my fair share of Icy Wind.
I've already missed a couple Bleakwind Swords today, reasoning I've dropped.
Oh, man. I mean, I've had my fair share. I mean, I've said this before, but a while back at Hartford, if I got the Icy Wind hit, I probably forced game 3. But as we do see here, a Terra comes out on the Urshifu. It is now a Ghost type trying to bait the Extreme Speed into in the Entei slot.
Could also possibly be to have a neutral out damage from the Trailblaze that Entei has.
Also true. But also with the Icy Wind, it comes out and it does hit the Urshifu. So now Urshifu is -1 speed. And that move was also not resisted by virtue of Urshifu turning into a...
And the Sacred Fire...
Is it?
Wait. Every single time.
3 Sacred Fires, 3 burns, 100% burn rate.
What does Anthony know that we do not? It's really just insane. And is he even gonna take out this Entei right now?
It's gonna be close, but he does enough. He does just enough. But that burn is gonna be huge. And with the Rocky Helmet on that Dondozo in the back, that is amazing.
And also, you gotta think of this. All of Zach's Pokemon are like at 1 HP. This is not a good situation for Zach.
It is not a good situation. It is unfortunate that it has gotten down to this, but that just shows that's the game you play. And with a Dozo in the back with that Tatsugiri, sometimes you have to be able to play around that properly.
Yeah, and, you know, like we were talking about earlier with burn reducing damage, it's really unfortunate because usually Surging Strikes can crit through stuff, but even if he does hit with the Surging Strikes, it's just not going to do that much damage because it's now burned. It's like half the damage. Like low speed, it's like what does Zach have? Like
exactly like he
just has a Pelipper and a Dream is what Zach has right now.
He does have a Pelipper and a Dream. Dare to dream, Zach. Dare to dream. We are pulling for Zach here because that could. I honestly, Pelipper can get a couple of crits.
And the battle was canceled. Zach's cutting his losses in the end.
Realizing that there is no way around that Dozo in the end with 4 Pokemon in the red HP. It is unfortunate, but Anthony Sabal moves up to 3-1 with the combination of Sushi just making you stronger.
Sushi just makes you stronger. You heard it here. You heard it from me, and I'm always right.
This is very, and also Sacred Fire. Just it's amazing. Like for some people, Sacred Fire is really good, but on other times it is really bad. Like I've heard of people that clicked Sacred Fire throughout the weekend at Charlotte, and they always hit it, but they never burned.
Yeah, it's you know, it's really just dependent on your luck because Sacred Fire, you know, unlike some moves, it has like, you know, it has like a 30%, it might have a 10%, but Sacred Fire has that 50% chance on that burn, and he's just gotten it good every single time, and it's just like
it's a guarantee. It was a guarantee. You hit your Sacred Fire, you are getting burned.
It's just every single coin flip, even the two.
So the one-turn sleep. Both Dragapult and Entei only slept for one turn.
Only slept for one turn, and that's only a 50% chance of happening. Because after, like, to sleep 2 turns is, like, 50% chance, and to sleep 3, I think, is 33?
I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
And I've heard about 4-turn sleeps before.
4 turns, I don't think that's possible.
I think it counts like turn 0 or whatever. Turn 0, 1, 2, 3
yeah,
or something like that.
It depends on, like, how many times it said like blank is fast asleep. That's when the turn of sleep starts.
Yeah, so like it's like if you get like the Amoonguss right there at the end of the turn. So like if Amoonguss was the last Pokemon to move, so that would count as like the turn 0. So that I think was what they mean by
that's probably what
the 4-turn sleep and everything. But honestly, I mean, That Dragapult. I mean, we
That's
said
right. We didn't expect it to do we expected it to do good. We just didn't expect the Terra Dragon from it.
we also didn't expect it to nearly one shot in our Charizard.
Exactly.
That is a
That had to be
neutral
a roll.
hit.
That had to be a roll.
That is
It's-
neutral. It's not even super effective. It was super effective. We could understand that.
yeah.
But neutral?
Neutral. We do have to take into consideration though it was terrestrialized with that Terra Dragon boost. It was outrage. That's base 120.
I think it is like one. It's like 110
it's
something.
insane.
It's good physical attack, somewhat like in the middle of special attack, but then that's speed. Like
That's
it's
the fast. I think it's the fastest Pokemon in the format, unless you count Bundle with a booster energy.
or if you're Tiago, you bring Regieleki.
You
with
bring
Electro.
Regieleki. Yep.
You bring Regieleki.
Yep.
Or, depending on how Regulation G is going to be in May, because we don't know just yet, it's rumored that it might be a restricted meta. If they allow something like Calyrex Shadow, that's a base 150 speed.
Me and Zach
coming
were
back.
actually talking earlier. I'm excited. I don't know if Zach's as excited as I am. I'm very excited for Shadow Calyrex because I'm going to pair it next to Chiyu, give Chiyu that choice scarf. Goes before everything. Yes, yeah, but it destroys everything.
Oh my god, that is good.
You know what Shadow Rider also gets? It gets Expanding Force.
It gets expanding
It gets
force.
Expanding Force.
Oh my-
It's ridiculous.
Oh my god, just slap it in DD on the. Slap it in DD, switch it
Like,
to
you already have your first 3 Pokemon on team. You have Shadow Rider, you have Chiyu, you have NDD. You just choose whichever 3 is your comfort picks at that point.
Exactly.
It's
Like,
just
And
really
and
easy.
literally, it's just like, stop this. Good luck, because Psychic Terrain will prevent any sucker punches
Yeah.
coming out. So essentially, you have to go with the Focus Edge, but the Focus Edge won't matter if you have a Chi-Yu. Like, and plus, I mean, you have Astral Barrage too. Astral Barrage, that spread special Ghost type attack that Calyrex Shadow Rider gets, and then you add in potential Grim Naze because of that as one ability.
Exactly. Yep, that adds one ability. You know, and even though it's like the less side, you know, that Amoonguss that usually, you know, if it has a citrus berry on it and it somehow survives, it's not going to recover because of that as one ability.
Yep, with the Unnerve from
Yep,
Calyrex.
exactly.
It's a very underrated ability, but when it activates,
When it matters, it matters.
it can literally be the difference between winning a game and losing a game.
Exactly.
And that's
everything counts.
And that's independent of any damage rolls too, because sometimes you get those damage rolls and it's just like you're looking at it and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it lived.
Yeah, it's. I bet that's how Anthony and Zach were feeling when that Arcaludon lived on assumingly one. Like it just had that tiny.
It
little
had to
sliver.
be like
It's like
one or two
one or
had
two.
to have been that
It
number.
was just so little it had there. It was the tiniest sliver.
And honestly, I'm just a little upset that we did. Personally, I'm a little upset that we didn't get to see Baxcalibur and we didn't get to see Enamorus on Anthony's side. I mean, granted, in the matchup, it just felt like the Dondozo combination
Yeah.
was like the coup de grace, so to speak. But that Enamorus there, I mean, it's got the Terra Steel with a taunt. You almost never see a Pokemon slow like Enamorus Theory and having taunt as a move.
My round 1 opponent at San Antonio Regional had a Trick Room team with Enamorus Therian with Choice Specs, and it was surprisingly it was doing some damage.
You didn't potentially battle Jin Furai, did you?
No, I did pretty good though. I won the game 2-1. Second game I only lost because I overthought a little, but we all do that.
We all do that, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with round number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 more rounds of Swiss, and then we are going to break to our top 8 cut here at the Cool Stuff Games Maitland Orlando January Premier Challenge.